Hey everyone, welcome to Jab Lab. My name is Coach Isaiah. This is Coach Jalen, and today we're going to be covering the basic stance and basic 6 punches of boxing. So if you're right-handed, you're going to be following along with me. If you're left-handed, you're going to be following along with Jalen. From there, let's jump right into it. So for my right-handers, your left foot is in front, right foot's behind. Again, lefties are opposite today. Your hands are always up by your face. I like to start from the ground up here, right? So I like to tell people to imagine there's a straight line from the toes of that lead leg all the way to the heel of this back leg, right? So imaginary straight line there. Other thing to note is that in boxing, we want a nice bend in those knees, nice athletic stance, right? So bending those knees, hands are up by our face, elbows in tight. Now that we've got our stance under control, we're going to jump right into the punches, right? So punch number 1 is called a jab. So with that lead hand going straight out, that's your jab right there, right? Couple things to note here. As I'm throwing my jab, I'm turning at the hips, keeping that rear hand up by my chin, turning that wrist all the way over to where that thumb is facing the ground, right? So again, to cover that jab, turn at the hips, turn everything, thumb pointed at the ground, bring it on right back to your face, okay? Punch number 1. Number 2 is your cross. So on that cross, again, turning at that back hip, fully extending that cross. A couple things I like to point out right here is that my back knee is actually facing towards the ground there on that cross. And again, I've turned my wrist all the way over to where my thumb is facing the ground, landing this punch with those 2 big knuckles, right? So those are your first 2 punches, the jab and the cross. Next, we have our lead hook. Now, before we throw our lead hook, I want you to get back into that stance, right? I want you to shift your weight to that lead leg, right? From here, you're going to bring that elbow up to 90 degrees as you're twisting to that rear side, right? So on that lead hook, the idea is that you're getting around the guard or hitting the side of the bag there, right? So that's your lead hook very briefly. From there, we have our rear hook. Same thing. Nice athletic stance, turning at that rear hip, elbow comes up to 90 degrees, twist, and then bring it on back to the face, right? Hitting the sides of the bag, bringing it on back, right? Last 2 punches are your uppercuts. So on that lead uppercut, you're going to lean on over to that lead side again, turn at the hip. I like to tell people to push into the ground with that lead foot as you're firing the uppercut, right? So just to cover that again, you're shifting your weight to the lead leg, right? Turning at the hip, pushing into the ground, bringing that punch back to your face. That's your lead uppercut. And then from there, your last punch is your rear uppercut. Again, loading up that rear leg, twisting at the hip, pushing into the ground, bringing it on right back to the face, right? So those are your 6 basic punches, just like we went over them. Jab, cross, lead hook, lead uppercut, rear uppercut. They're also numbered. So if you guys hear me in classes saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you guys can reference this video. Outside of that, hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Peace.